I was pranked by my cat last night. This is Rogue, our barn cat, which means she lives in the barn. She does get into our house occasionally, but we just put her right back outside. It's not a big deal. She's so friendly. We would let her live in our house, except we have 3 dogs and 2 kids, so she gets to live in the barn. So 2 mornings ago, I woke up and Rogue was in the house. And we have a baby and a toddler. I was like, you know what? I must have just forgotten to set her outside. Whatever. Put her outside, no big deal. Well, last night at about 1 a.m., I was up in my baby's room feeding her, and I'm sitting there, it's pitch black, I can't really see, and all of a sudden something makes my dog Wallace jump. About the same time, there is a play gym in my daughter's room, and there's a bell on it, and the bell rings. And I was like, okay, Wallace must have bumped the bell, right? So I'm sitting there half asleep, pitch black room, no big deal. But then this bell starts ringing like constantly, like ding, 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 ding. And I'm like, oh my gosh, what is in this room with us? Then I'm pretty sure I see the outline of Rogue on the ground. Now I hope it's Rogue. I'm like, okay, I'm like half asleep, and I'm like, okay, the cat's on the ground playing with the baby's toy. At least I hope that's what's happening. So, but then I knew for a fact that I put the cat out before I went to bed. I remembered doing it this time. And I was like, okay, the cat's in the house. The cat's in the house. Okay. So then I was like, okay, there's a hole in my house or a door is open. How did our cat get into the house? And if the cat can get into the house, other critters can get into our house. We live on some land out in the country. Like, I don't want possums or raccoons getting into my house. So I'm like, oh my gosh, okay. So there's a hole in the house. And I'm half asleep, so I'm like trying not to fall asleep. So then the cat's sitting there playing with the bell. And then the cat, what I think to be our cat, it was, gets up, walks, I can see into our room, walks into our room. My dog follows her nice and calmly, they're friends. And she just hops up onto the windowsill, and I see her tail, and she goes out the window. And I'm like, what? What is happening? Now, backstory. Whenever it's chilly, I like to crack one of our bedroom windows at night because I like the cold air, and I like it better than the fan or running the AC really cold, because if the AC is really cold, our kids' rooms get really cold. So I like to crack our window. But the screen's down, right? The screen is always down. So I'm like, okay, the cat must have ripped the screen somehow, because I knew the window was cracked. So I was like, okay, the cat ripped the screen, I guess. So I finally get my baby down. At this point, I'm wide awake because I'm thinking a million things of disaster going on in our house. And I go over to our room and I look and I'm like, there's a screen there. There's not a screen there. There's a screen there. And I like put my hand up to it and it just goes straight outside. So I don't know if my husband lifted the screen or if the cat figured out how to lift up the screen, but the screen was up and the window was open. And so that is how the cat has been getting into the house the past 2 nights. And last night she just decided to get in at some point, see that I was in my baby's room, go in there, randomly play with this bell, and then leave the house all on her own. Thanks for the scare, Rogue.